And a young influential voice out of Nigeria with a larger-than-life feature or made that stature is among the many standouts aiming to build bridges between Africa and the Caribbean. Now, this Pan-African and global youth ambassador foresees a cultural partnership with the region, starting with Jamaica. Here's more from Neika Lewis.
Meet a real-life prince from Nigeria who, despite his love for fashion and the arts, stands strongly on his view that global Africa must reunite for greatness in a world he thinks is pushing to remove our Africanness. Bakari Mubarak was named one of Africa's most influential people under 40 and stands tall in the fashion industry.
That I was put on this earth to be one of the greatest forces on the planet that would drive a global African renaissance. And I know for sure that that's a vision that is larger than life, and I cannot do it all by myself. I've always believed, as a staunch Pan-African advocate, I've always believed that it's all right for us as people of African descent to be scattered around the world, but it's very unacceptable for us to be disconnected.
The young prince also heads two entities bent on building bridges for commerce and success between Africa and the Caribbean.
I was having a conversation at the Youth Summit back in Nigeria, and I emphasized the fact that Panama has the second largest canal. But how many people on the continent knows? Only a few people knows about this. So we've not been engaged, or we've not been involved in doing businesses with each other. I had a conversation with an associate here who is in the cosmetic sector. They make products that are cosmetic products, very organic ones, and then they tend to import shea butter from the West African coast. But guess what? They've been having
black soap is a big thing for us here too.
Look at that. So those are things we have, but the challenge was that there was an intermediary, or there is an intermediary.
Prince Mubarak asserts a direct line of trade would make accessing certain products much cheaper for Jamaican businesses. We also discussed the matter of replacing the 1890s Obeah Act, now in the Supreme Court.
There's too much knowledge in all of this, but because they have been tagged, have been actually demonized one way or the other, we don't tend to exploit them as much as we should be able to. So speaking to what you talked about, I'd read about it, get to have more information. But from the surface level, I think it's all right to take away, to not demonize practices that are actually indigenous.
But despite his passions, he considers himself a Pan-Africanist and an admirer of military leader in Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré, advocating for one Africa.
A very big kudos. I give all of my kudos to this wonderful
leader,
to this wonderful leader and the people of Burkina Faso. I think they have truly woken up, from their slumber. And I think the entire Africa must wake up from our slumber. And in essence, in extension, the entire global Africa must stand up to our power. And but this wouldn't happen if we don't bring about that interconnection and that collaboration, especially from an economic standpoint.
He'll be visiting that country soon, but until then, he has been soaking up the culture, mostly its food and people right here in Jamaica. And no, he's not here in search of a bride, but see the full interview soon, only on CVM TV.